Adesso abbiamo il piacere di presentare la nostra rappresentante della Bosnia.
Now we have a great pleasure to present, to introduce the representative from Bosnia.
Amrat Kubat. E volevo chiedere a Sara che ci raccontasse, prima che lei incominci la sua conferenza, e ci raccontasse un po' chi è Amrat Kubat.
Sure, I'm honored. Amra was born in 1979 in Sarajevo, in Bosnia and Herzegovina. She's yoga and meditation teacher, and she's continuously developing in these areas as much as in others. She's attending different yoga schools, workshops, and seminars related to yoga and personal development in many countries and in India as well. She has been practicing yoga for the last 10 years, and during that time, she has been acquainted with different styles and methods of it. She likes to combine Hatha Yoga, Vinyasa flow. She works with group and individual clients as well. She continued yoga education with the teacher Yogachari Yadran Kumiklet. Amra graduated in economics after doing work as a manager in different companies. In the year 2015, she opened Center Transformasha in Sarajevo, and yoga became her basic activity. In the meanwhile, she organized and conducts yoga school in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Currently, she's the owner and director of Center Transformasha in Sarajevo. Please welcome.
Welcome, welcome, Amrat Kubat. Now the stage is yours.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my presentation about Ahimsa. I will share presentation now. Yes. Okay. Great. So, as Sarah told, my name is Amra Kubat, and I'm representative of Bosnia and Herzegovina. My personal motto in life is to love unconditionally, and I'm trying to remember first myself and then others, to love in every moment of our lives, because love is the essence of the universe. Today I will present you Ahimsa as the first and very important chapter of Yoga Path, for which you will see that is very related with love. The presented material in this presentation is taken from several books about yoga, and it includes my comments on it. Okay, so let's start. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras is a collection of texts that forms the foundation of classical yoga philosophy. Written about 400 years before Christ, the Sutras, a Sanskrit word that means treats, are organized into 4 chapters, and there is in total 196 sutras, which are short verses or pieces of wisdom. The Yoga Sutras begin with the Samadhi Pada, which describes what yoga is, followed by Sadhana Pada, which describes spiritual practice, and continue with Vibhuti Pada, that describes the benefits of yoga, and Kevalya Pada, that explains the concept of liberation or freedom from suffering. The philosophical text, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, constitutes the foundations of yoga, essentially providing us with a guide to reach Samadhi, the state of bliss. I will focus only on Sadhana Pada, as Ahimsa is part of it. So, Sadhana Pada is the second chapter of Yoga Sutras. Sadhana means spiritual practice, so this second chapter focuses on the steps the yogi should take to reach a state of union with the divine of higher self. Sadhanapada describes Kriya Yoga, yoga of action, and the steps to eliminate worldly suffering and reach yogic state, a process known as the 8 limbs of yoga, or the 8-fold path known also as Ashtanga Yoga. So, in order to eliminate the suffering and reach the yogic state, one should apply all 8 limbs introduced in Sadhanapada. They are Yama, means ethical standards. Niyama means self-discipline. Asana means poses. Pranayama means breathing techniques. Pratyahara means withdrawal of senses. Dharana means concentration. Dhyana means meditation. And Samadhi, absorption in the object of focus. So, the word Yama originally means bridle or rein and refers to the restraining nature of the yamas. A yama is a duty or observance recommended by yogic philosophy and teaching as part of the 8-limbed path of yoga. In Patanjali's Sutras, he outlines five yamas as the first limb of yoga, and they are Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, and Aparigraha. The yamas are practices that are considered to be outer observances. They are a way of applying the behavioral codes of yoga to the way the yogi relates to the world. They are considered to be a valuable and highly relevant guide to help yogis live an ethical life. Practicing the yamas is said to give the yogi opportunity to live in a way that is healthier and more peaceful. They can improve relationships with others, strengthen character, and help the yogi progress on his or her spiritual path. It is also believed to reduce or even prevent the accumulation of bad karma, which can be get rid when one lives without awarenesses or honesty. The yamas describe the restraints needed to live in an ethical life. There are believed to be at least 60 ancient sacred texts that describes the yamas, many of which are written in Sanskrit. This includes variations of Patanjali's list of 5 yamas, with some texts listing up to 10 yamas. The other versions order the yamas differently and emphasize different aspects. Today, we will focus on the first yama and its importance. It is called Ahimsa. But before I start with Ahimsa, we will do some short meditation. So, please, I please you to sit in meditative position with your spine straight. Close your eyes and focus on the level of your heart. Take a few deep breaths and relax your shoulders, stomach, and legs. Breathe deeply and slowly. Relax your eyes and tongue. Focus on your breathing. Deep inhale and slow exhale. Now imagine yourself on your yoga mat doing your daily practice, or in the studio practicing with other yogis. You start doing asana, which you would like to improve, and you decide to stay in it for a little bit longer than usual. Become aware of how do you feel while trying to stay longer in the asana. Are you pushing yourself above your limits? Do you feel pain in any part of your body? Are you overthinking about it, or you are still focused on your breath? Do you have any negative thoughts leading you to give up? Just note what is happening and breathe. Just note what is happening. Now, bring your consciousness back into your room. Take a few deep breaths, and when you are ready, open your eyes. I hope that you became aware a little bit deeper. How do you feel when you are trying to improve yourself and your asana? Let's now consider this from the perspective of Ahimsa. Ahimsa means love, harmlessness, non-killing, non-violence. It means absence of enmity, hostility, and harm. For the spiritual aspirant, it should mean absence of any harmful intention whatsoever. Physical, mental, and emotional violence are all to be avoided, and Ahimsa is often considered to guide yogis to practice compassion and non-judgment as a tool for cultivating non-violence. When one is established in Ahimsa, it develops a kind of magnetism around one that influences anybody who approaches. One becomes free of a very dangerous and evil state of violence and hostility. Practicing the art of Ahimsa, non-violence, the very first yama of Patanjali Yoga Sutras, involves refraining from the intention of causing physical and psychological pain to any living being, and the conscious integration of compassion into every aspect of daily life. It is not merely a passive state of refraining from violence. Ahimsa implies the active expression of compassion. It not only encompasses our philosophical attitudes towards war and killing, but directly impacts our daily interactions with family, friends, colleagues, and neighbors. The way we earn a living and how we spend our money, the kind of food we eat, our relationships with the environment, how we treat animals and other species, and how we view politics, business, and education. It is very easy to say that we should be nonviolent, that we should love each other, but the concept of love is too great for us to understand. But often, for us, love means security of defense against the fear of death, and nothing more. It is a psychological necessity, but love is actually something much greater. The most important thing is not to oppose even violent people. That is also Ahimsa, and if the whole thing is discussed more deeply, then it means that you practice elimination of the complex of enmity, disapproval. In India, such a person is called Ayata Shatru, which means war without an enemy. The yogis of the past practiced Ahimsa as part of their spiritual development. Practicing Ahimsa takes courage and skill and challenges us on both the physical and mental level, refraining from thoughts and words that can cause pain to others, and refraining from reacting when insulted or unjustly criticized are some common examples of Ahimsa. Therefore, it means that when the aspirant is firmly established in Ahimsa, when even the last traces of hostility are finished, the soul unfolds itself from within in a magnetic form, and the magnetic form is called Vairagya, which is a complete abandonment of hostility. Thus, even the killing of animals should be given up. In the following part, I will list and describe some of the main postulates of how to practice Ahimsa in your daily life, everyday life. Start with yourself. Start with yourself because how we treat ourselves is in truth how we treat these around us. So, love yourself first. Second, letting go of all judgment for yourself and others. When you catch yourself judging the other person or yourself, for that matter, stop yourself and just say thank you. Third, have a forgiving attitude. If you are light-hearted and forgiving with yourself, others will feel the ease and joy of being with you. Inspire others to believe that they can find the love and forgiveness for themselves at the same time. Fourth, practice unconditional love for yourself and others. Fear is root of all violence and attacks. A life without fear is life full of love. When things are difficult, you have two choices. First, to choose the path of resistance, and the second, to choose the path of love. So choose path of love every time. Fifth, eat a healthy and plant-based vegetarian diet. Treat your body as a holy place that doesn't thrive on unhealthy or junk food and the deaths of other creatures. If cutting out certain things from your diet cause you harm, then it's important to consider what works best for your unique body. Don't feel guilty, because that is also one form of violence. Try your best to follow Ahimsa as much as you can. Sixth, cultivate the seeds of positive and loving thoughts. The mind is the most powerful tool in our possession. Everything begins from this point. The way we think and feel is proven to be considered even to our immunity, our brain, and our cells and genes. If we have bad, negative thoughts, it means that we commit violence against our mind, which affects our communication and the action we take our whole life. Guru Dev Sri Ravi Shankar explains, often useless weeds grow without any cultivation. You don't have to make any effort, they just grow. But a useful plant needs some attention. All the unwanted, unnecessary doubts, thoughts which they don't need to be sown, they just come up by themselves. By svadhyaya, self-study, by attention, you can weed them out and keep only those which are essential. Seventh, care for the Mother Earth and our ecosystem. By simply deciding to perform small acts of kindness, you are influencing the new vibration for the world around you and for planet Earth. For example, you can volunteer in your local community and plant new trees for new generations, or do something similar by your choice for the sake of the Earth. Be the change you want to see in the world. 8. Use your own mat yoga practice for practice. From complete beginners to the most experienced yogi, we can all feel frustrated when our physical yoga practice doesn't progress as quickly as we'd like. Remembering Ahimsa throughout our yoga practice guides us to let go of thinking negatively about body, accepting ourselves completely, no matter how strong or flexible we are at this moment. Nonviolence in the physical sense here means we don't push ourselves over the edge. Of course, we challenge ourselves in order to grow, leaning into the sometimes scary edge, but never pushing ourselves to the pain of harm. 9. Resolve conflicts by peaceful measures. As far as handling stressful situations that arise, you are calmer in situations making other people calmer. Then you are more peaceful and less impacted if something challenging arises. And 10. Practice meditation and the art of presence and listening. Meditation will give you a quiet heart mind, and where around others, you will see that this can calm them too. Meditation is a solution for everything. So, to understand how nonviolence can manifest in our lives each day, we must first learn how subtle daily actions and responses contain elements of violence. This often happens against ourselves. When our thoughts contain negative responses like disappointment, anger, or guilt, when we feel shame, we are subtle creating violence. If you can't forgive someone for something they've done against you, or if you can't forgive yourself for something you've done, this is an act of violence because it pushes love away. Expecting too much of yourself and putting all responsibilities in your own hands is a type of violence too, as is expecting that the world will run according to your design. You're being violent towards yourself and the world with these kinds of mindsets. Acting out of our fears is a form of violence to the self. We inflict violence on others daily in subtle ways, but this is simply an outward expression of the work that goes on inside everybody. For instance, when we dislike others, it creates a negative atmosphere. Finding inner peace through Ahimsa will in turn allow us to come to peace in interactions with others. This may come as a surprise if you consider yourself as a non-violent person. Consider how violence can function in the subtlest of ways. Violence discusses itself well. It manifests in words, actions, and even inner thoughts. Yoga is a great way to access Ahimsa in our daily interactions. Yoga creates the avenue to getting in touch with any violence you hold inside of you through non-violent means, and therefore to express negativity without hurting anyone, yourself included. Releasing negative energy through positive intentions transcend the negative aspects of yourself, creating peace in the world around you. Besides the highest benefit at the personal level, practicing Ahimsa radiates vibrations of love and peace, increases willpower and acceptance, generates mental fortitude, cultivates courage and confidence, helps to overcome anger, fears, and insecurities, expands our sense of belonging, improves our relationships with the self and with others, increase assertiveness, passion, and communication, reduce stress, and helps to achieve peace of mind. In short, practicing Ahimsa helps us create a positive, peaceful, and harmonious world for ourselves and others. Well, it is easier to consider Ahimsa in our yoga practice and then try to translate it to our life. So if you want, you can take your paper and pens and write down these questions and ask yourself when practicing yoga. Do you do your sadhana practice in disciplined manner or as per your mood? It is important to leave your moods out of your yoga mat and be always 100% focused on your practice. Do you harm yourself in any way by either being too pushy or being too lazy? Always be gentle with yourself. Accept your limits and keep the discipline. Do you deny your body rest when needed? Relaxation is the most important part of any practice, and performing Shavasana after each practice is crucial. Do you pay attention to your breath? Conscious breathing keeps us connected with our inner being. Do you glance at the other students in the yoga studio and compare yourself to them? Never compare yourself with others, as well are all on different paths and levels. Do you base your self-worth on whether you can do a certain pose or not? Regular practice is the only safe path to the improvement. If you can do it today, it is okay. You will be able to do it tomorrow. Do you think how ugly your toes look when you are doing a forward bend? Or roll your eyes in sarcasm at your love handles in a side bend? The ego always tries to keep us away from the essence of practice. Do you get mad at yourselves for your chittering mind in a Shavasana or in a meditation? Becoming aware of your breath stops your thoughts and keeps you present in the moment. These are good questions to observe ourselves on the mat and bring some Ahimsa into our yoga practice. Soon it will start oozing out into other parts of your life as well. And just keep on your mind that love is the most important part in life. So start right now by loving yourself first. Thank you for attention. Namaste.
Dear Amra, thank to you. Thank for your lecture. Per favore, Amelia, se ci sei,
sì.
Volevo dire una cosa ad Amrat, alla nostra rappresentante della Bosnia, che sono proprio davvero felice che sia con noi.
Amra, we would like to tell you that I'm very happy you are here with us.
E che lei, per come è, per quel sorriso che ha, per quella dolcezza che ha, lei rappresenta quello che dice, lei rappresenta la non violenza.
And regarding your smiley face, your sweet voice and sweet attitude, you really are what you said. You really represent Ahimsa.
Thank you so much.
Perché chi pratica la Ahimsa, uno dei punti di arrivo è proprio la dolcezza con cui una persona si rivolge agli altri, la dolcezza dei suoi del suo comportamento. È veramente, glielo voglio dire proprio, è splendida, sono felice davvero che sia con noi. Grazie, grazie.
I would like to point out and then express that whoever really practice Ahimsa, one of the point that you can realize that is the kind and sweet attitude with the words, with the smile, with the way of doing, and that's what you represented. So I'm really I really wanted to express this to you.
E ascolta,